Let's begin! In I'm hungry, you're not hungry, but your customers most certainly are. You are the owner of a fast food restaurant and must make food orders for a variety of comical looking characters. You can make burgers by placing down a bun, lettuce, and of course a burger, and then you have a choice between tomato ketchup or cheese. You have to quickly shake the Move controller down to squirt the topping, which feels pretty good. You can also make ice creams. This is more of a simple process though, as all you have to do is place down a cup and then pull a lever to make the ice cream flow. How it actually swirls around in the cup does look quite cool, although from time to time I did experience some Move controller tracking issues, as the machine itself is placed behind you and to your side. It didn't happen often enough to really hurt my overall experience though. You also have a drinks machine. Just like the ice cream machine, it's simple to use and is basically the same process. You place down a cup, pull the lever, and the machine does the rest of the work. Making fries requires a few more actions, as you must first fill up the chip holder by placing it under a machine and pulling a lever. You then must dip the fries into the oil and wait for them to cook. You know when they have cooked enough thanks to a light on the machine turning green, and also thanks to a ding sound. You then place the chips into an opening and they appear in another slot, packaged and ready to serve. To complete an order, you must first place all the customer's desired food onto a tray and then bag it up. You must actually whip the bag first so that it fills up with air and is open for the food to slide right in. It's a great motion to perform and I actually never got tired of it. Finally, after the customer receives their food, they will pay you and you actually have to grab the money and place it in your till. There isn't a whole lot of actions to remember here, but that doesn't mean the process isn't fast and intense. Each item takes a different amount of time to cook, so you really need to learn which ones to start making first. And because the chips and burgers have different cooking stages that each include a timer, you get used to doing something else in between. So not only will you have to remember what food to make, but also how far you are in the process of making them. The game comes with a couple of different modes. In the career mode, you play through a series of stages in 2 different locations. Each stage has 3 stars to earn. The more customers you serve, and the more times you get their orders right, the more stars you receive. The stages do start off pretty easy, and don't require you to be that quick at all, but about halfway through the first set of stages, they really demand that you're super quick, and this is where the game becomes a lot of fun. You have a massive advantage if you already have some food ready, before it is even ordered, as you can quickly get through more customers. This made sure that I was doing something nearly all of the time, and I was always looking for that extra bit of spare time to get something else ready. That I was even doing something whilst they briefly looked for their money. I even got used to taking their money and putting it in the till whilst doing something else with my other hand. I was always looking for ways to improve my cooking speed and enjoyed doing so. The toughness doesn't just come from being quick though, as some customers decide to add something else to their order as you're already preparing their last request. This forces you to keep an eye out on yet another thing in your restaurant, and some new abilities are also given to you as you progress through the game, which require you to remember another action for each bit of food. Shaking a drink after it's complete or slapping a burger will turn it golden. Some of these actions didn't seem to work for me though, even though I followed the instructions perfectly. Maybe I was doing it wrong, but I really don't think I was. Some characters request these golden items and will reward you with a sack of cash instead of coins or notes. There is a reason to earn money too, as it can be spent on upgrading your machines. The price of these upgrades are incredibly high though, as they cost 10,000 each. After beating the first neighbourhood location in the career, I had only just got half the amount of one upgrade. It took me 4 hours to only get half. It's far too grindy. The second mode in the game is called Challenge, which is basically an endless mode. It's pretty simple. Now I was actually really enjoying the game, until I got about 3/4 of the way through the first location, as the amount of people who need to be served to obtain 1 star is quite high, and you are on a time limit in these stages. The problem is that customers are randomly generated along with their orders, and some people order a lot more than others. I really don't think I could have made the food any faster. It really did seem like the levels was impossible to complete because of what orders the game had randomly picked for me. You have to receive at least 1 star to move on to the next level too, so I was stuck in these stages until the game gave me a good flow of customers. In a game that is centered around memory and speed, luck should absolutely not play a role here. It really dampens your mood when you have spent so much time perfecting your skills. Your memory is put to the test even more when you reach the theme park location. The orders here instantly become set on fire and will disappear forever after a very brief amount of time. It's very hard to remember what the customer wants when they order a lot. This, along with having to be lucky with the randomly generated orders, just makes the game stressful rather than fun. The characters are all excellently modelled and their animations are superb throughout. Some can be a little intimidating at first, as they are pretty large in size, and when they place their massive hand through the window, you really get a greater sense of how big they really are. They don't actually speak, instead they murmur and grumble. It actually feels like a Sims game because of it, especially with the somewhat similar tone of music. The art direction really is great, and I really do appreciate the work gone into the characters' personas. However, the game is pretty blurry, so much in fact that you can't even see the detail on the character's face as they walk past in the background. Even the writing in the background, you can't make out. They look great when they're at your window though, and the depth is still good on everything around you, but it is a massive shame about the blur. There is 36 stages to beat in total, and they last around 5 to 6 minutes each. I had to replay one stage 6 times, until the game threw a good combination of orders my way, so because of the randomness, there isn't a solid playthrough completion time here. Trophy wise, the list does cover everything the game has to offer, but unfortunately, there isn't a platinum here. There's a couple for completing every stage in both locations in career mode, but the majority are made up of making food a certain amount of times. It really is quite grindy, considering there isn't a real challenge to it, and then you get one for getting $1 million, and also for upgrading all of the machines. Overall, it's quite a lot of work not to be rewarded with a platinum. Surprisingly, I actually really enjoyed playing this game. For a decent amount of time anyway. I have reviewed a lot of games recently that have quite a few systems in play, so this was a refreshing, fun and simple time. Sure, there isn't a whole lot of things to actually make here, but because of how quick you have to be with the orders, it keeps you on your toes. But as you progress through the game, you realise some levels are simply impossible to beat unless the game throws the right combination of characters and orders your way, so you just lose interest. It really is a shame, because at first when I was jotting down notes for the review, I was actually going to recommend this game, even with its less than sharp visuals, because it was a lot of fun to play, but ultimately, the game becomes unbalanced. There is a couple of ways to fix this though, and that's to make each stage have a set combination of customers, and to reduce the price of machine upgrades. Some machines appear to be able to make more than one item at once, so it's extremely odd you don't have enough money for these when the game starts to demand a lot of items to be made at once. I really was having so much fun when I first started playing, so I really hope we see a patch that balances the game out more in the future. As always, if you enjoyed this review, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PSVR content.